Hello. Can you hear me? The mic? Okay. All right. Okay. There's been some memo about me, but let me reintroduce myself. My name is Javi, and I'm probably going to be one of the most delusional TED Talk speaker you ever experience in your life. I know I'm not necessarily the most delusional person alive or dead, because Da Vinci is delusional. I believe so. I'm not as delusional as Da Vinci. I'll prove it in this conversation. But yes, I'm one of the most delusional. I believe I am, because it takes a lot of delusion to show up at a TED Talk, to give a talk on delusion. I have the delusion so much that I submitted a TED Talk titled How to Be Delusional, or why you need a little bit of delusion to success. I created a formula about delusion, and I'm here with the delusion that you're going to take my delusion seriously. That's a lot of delusion. But that's just to show how delusional I am. But yes, I'm delusional, and I'm not sorry. The reason I'm not sorry is because my delusion has affected the entire trajectory of my life. And I will give you reasons, 3 reasons, because I could go forever, I could go on forever. But due to the poverty of time, I will just narrow it down to 3 reasons as to why I believe that delusion is the ultimate formula to solution. Take notes, I didn't say ultimate formula to life. Don't go and quote me anywhere and say, have you said ultimate formula to life is delusion? I said ultimate formula, because life has all of its intricacies and its sophistication, and we cannot bottle life to some formula. It's too vast for that. So success, limited to success at whatever level you're chasing. So these are the 3 reasons. So I'll take it from the point prompter. Okay, the first one is 3 reasons as to why I strongly believe that you need delusion. Number 1, because my mother had never been on a flight. That sounds ridiculous, because how has that got to do with delusion, right? What has my mother not being on a flight got to do with this? Let me explain. I can explain. And there is evidence, I promise. So, the first time I ever experienced flight was 3 years ago, when I made it to the, I think a lot of you should have seen that TEDxSamaru video where I did this problem, no great finish as they face them. So that particular piece was what qualified me for the finals, which I made it to the final, from the first 1,000, first 500, first 40, first 10 to first 6. One of the first top 6 contestants is here in the room with me, but I'm not going to call his name. But yeah, he was part of the, I made it to the first 6, and the first 6 made it to Lagos, right? And that was going to be my first flight ever. Because right from time, I have always been in this writing hustle. But each time I travel and I have to go for my physical appearances, I would have to travel, like take a bus, either from Abuja to Lagos, or from Niger to Lagos. Both my parents are not necessarily together anymore. My dad is in Abuja, my mom is in Niger. So from wherever I am at the time, I will take a bus, and it's hectic. My mom will call me. I will get tired. There's dust everywhere. I'm exhausted. At the time I reach Lagos, I'm demoralized. I need like 12 hours to recover from the 12 hours I've lost on the way. So I'm used to traveling by road. I've never experienced flights till at least 2021, when this TEDxSamaru thing happened, and I made it. I was like, flights are actually happening. And then I didn't even have an international passport, so I didn't know what was involved in flights. I thought I needed to get an international passport. I was told that I just need an ID card. I used my student ID card to get my first flight. So when I got on the flight, my mom was like watching the time, and then I arrived Lagos at exactly 45 minutes on the dot. My mom, a typical Nigerian mother, was fascinated. She was like, you know, dirty, like you just arrive, money good, all those kind of things. She was so fascinated. although I've not been on flights, but I'm a Gen Z now, I know that it's a normalized thing. Flights are normalized, and I just didn't have the money to book one. Or maybe I might have had the money, but that time flights were even cheaper, like 35K or so, but I didn't feel like 35K was a lot of money for 45 minutes. So I'll now enter road for 12K and suffer and sweat. I thought that the extra money was worth the stress, right? So that was my first experience. And even that first experience, I didn't actually pay for it. It was paid for by the brand. So I experienced it, and I wasn't necessarily fascinated, but my mom's conversation with me on a video call was what like inspired this talk today. My mom has never been on a flight, so she was more fascinated than I was, and then she was so excited. And she now like casually said that, me, I will never take a flight. Though. And I was like, why? She said, Oibo and their winch. Like how iron go pack plenty people, go come day for air. For how long? How did they do them? I no go risk my life for Oibo. I no go put my life for Oibo hand. Yeah, so she was saying it from her own typical point of view, but it just, that her statement just came to me as a realization that flights are actually miracles happening every day. And because it has become so normalized, we don't even realize that flights are actually so amazing. The reason is because flight goes against the laws of physics every single day. What goes up should go down. Like, an airplane is literally heavier than a stone, heavier than this pointer I'm holding right here. But if I leave this pointer, it's dropping. But that plane will go up and suspend it. Yes, I know that there are practical and logical ways to explain how a heavy metal with tons of people on it suspends in the air for hours. But to me, my personal opinion is it started from delusion, right? It's not fair to narrow down the invention of aeroplanes to just one single person. But from my research, because I did my homework, I found out that Da Vinci was a crazy, delusional guy that actually thought of the idea that people could actually fly. And just try to picture this scenario, that you're seated with Da Vinci, maybe you're Da Vinci's friend, and then at the moment that that idea popped into his head, you guys were maybe seated on under a tree or on a tree, and then he looked at you and be like, oh, let me use my name, Javi. And he'd be like, Javi, have you ever thought of the possibility of people actually flying? At that ancient time, I'd say he's crazy and a delusional person. Because what sorcery could possibly make somebody fly? He attempted it. I believe that during the process where he attempted to fly, create wings and everything, he had people that looked at him and be like, that crazy guy, he's at it again, right? He did not succeed during his lifetime. But today we have the Wright brothers that made it possible, right? But before someone took him seriously, they needed that crazy guy to come with the delusion of the impossible of flying. So that goes to show, this is my first prompt that says, because my mother had never been on a flight. Because my mother has never been on a flight, it has inspired me to come to see the amazing perspective, see like flights from a rather amazing perspective. And I've come to appreciate that flights are actually everyday miracles that we have found a logical way to explain, so it has become normalized. But it actually started from some delusional guy. And that actually expanded my horizon. I started thinking of the guy that thought about telecommuting for the first time. What sorcery? You pick your phone, you can actually, like in the past, the Africans, we use smokes to communicate, music. Then we moved to printing press, to letters. But before you can send a letter to your lover, it would take 30 years. Right now, you can actually just sit and text somebody. You can pick up your phone, and I could actually call my mom and hear her voice. Now it has grown to the point where I can actually see her face live and direct. That is a living miracle. If we take our time to think outside the logical box, we can actually see that these are ridiculous ideas that have come to reality and has become normalized, right? So my second prompt, like my second reason as to why I believe that delusion is like a determinant or like a support for success. Because you are exactly what you believe you are. Now, this is the part where I tell you the story of my life, but I promise you, this is not some grace to grass story. Don't take it like that. It is not some sub story. Forget about the sub side and just focus on the delusional part. Okay? Because the reason why we're here is to be delusional. And I hope that I make you all as delusional as me before I leave this hall today. So yeah. I grew up in a typical household, typical Nigerian household. I almost use the P word because my mom is a born-again Christian. We don't like to use the word poor on ourselves. But we were in that line. We were going there with our life. Like, we were around that area. We were very rich in that light. So rich that we can't afford flights. Like, flights were far-fetched. That's to show that we were very typical. And even with this P-word situation, I still had the audacity to be basic. Like, basic, that is, I was not special. By special, I mean, no, like, there were kids that, although maybe they're not, some kids are born great singers. Some kids are born with really angelic voice. Some are sportive, they are strong, they are good dancers. I didn't even know how to ride a bicycle. Like, who doesn't even know how to ride? I think there are some people in this hall that don't know how to ride a bicycle. I'm not alone. Yeah, but I didn't know how to ride a bicycle. I didn't have, like, basic skills. I didn't have all of those amazing things that a kid should have, that you look at a kid and be like, this girl, I see a star. I wasn't that kind of kid. I was basic. So it's not the typical story where you are a poor child with amazing dreams that you just needed one helper to help you. Even if the helper came at that time, I didn't have anything to offer. I was very normal. I was a normal girl. But right now, I have the privilege of standing before you today to share my experience with you, because there was something that stood out with me. At the time, I didn't know it was called delusion. I always thought I was special, and I did not even know why. It's delusional because I didn't have a concrete reason. I didn't have anything to hold on to determine why I was special. But I go around feeling I was special because my mom has always made me feel special. She told me I was pretty. She told me I was nice. She built that delusion in me, and I always got, like, I think I needed to grow up a little to realize that, okay, that was delusion, but I needed to, like, find a way to finesse it, and I finessed it, and I'm now trying to preach it to you today. But yes, at that time, I didn't have any reason to feel special, but I did anyway. But on the course of my delusion, it has shaped my perspective of things generally. Because I thought I was special, I hung around with the special kids. And it rubbed up on me. Because I thought I was special, I wanted to ace in my exam because that's what special kids do, right? So I worked harder and I aced in my exam. It was in here. It was all in here. Because if I look at it from a logical and a brutally honest point of view, I wasn't necessarily amazing. I was a good kid. I was an interesting kid, but I was not amazing. I knew amazing kids when I was younger. I was not in that category, but I hung with them. Why? Because I felt like I belonged in that space. Why? Delusion. I thought I was special. So yes, because you are exactly what you believe you are. And that actually affects your perspective. Today, my delusion has, like, shaped my direction, shaped who I hung with, things I got involved with. I started volunteering at a ridiculous age. I volunteered for TEDx at a very ridiculous age. I was a teenager, but I've done a lot of volunteering for organizations and stuff because I thought I was special and I felt like I belonged in that room. That is why today I'm able to stand before you today, right? It started from delusion. It started from delusion. So now to the third one, because I noticed that time is not really on our side, is because it is the ultimate formula to solution. I repeat, I said ultimate formula to solution. I didn't say ultimate formula to life. Oh, don't misquote me anywhere. Ultimate formula to solution. And I literally created a formula for it. I promise you it works. It makes sense. Don't freak out. This is not maths. Don't freak out. I promise it's not maths. I didn't study maths, so I promise. I studied English. Yeah. So I summed it up to D equals to P, D, A times C equals to S. Don't freak out. Please stay with me. I'm going somewhere. So the D stands for delusion. The P stands for perception. The D again stands for direction. The A stands for action. The C stands for conviction. Conviction. It's not my mother tongue. Then the S stands for solution. Now, how does this my own self-coined almighty solution formula works? The D, delusion. Now, delusion equals to P, perception. Delusion leads to affects your perception. I've already given you an idea of how delusion affects your perception from how I gave you the story of my childhood. When you think that you're special, or when you think big, the bigger picture is actually big. And then it gives you a wider vantage point to see things. You see things differently from how you perceive things based on your delusion. If you think that you're a loser, you see things like a loser. You act like a loser. You exude loser energy. You receive loser energy. And overall, you become a loser. If you think you are amazing, perception, you see things like an amazing person. You hang around amazing people. You exude amazing energy. You receive amazing energy. And it transcends to amazing things. So I would like to close up completely with a spoken word piece of mine that I help to boost my self-confidence every time. And it's titled, I didn't title it, but here it goes. This society gives my body a cause for debating. Makes my body a walking reminder of my place in this society. So this society has turned my body into a house of limitations. Into a house where all my dreams and aspirations are reduced to age, to class, black, woman, religion, cripple, sickle, too fat, too thin, too poor, too dream, too irrelevant to be seen, and not even enough thick skin to prepare me for this. It's how society reduces me, reduces you, breaks you into bits of indecision. But right here on this crossroad of decision, follow your intuition. Do not despair, do not fear to lose what is right. Do not lose sight of the bigger picture. For these dreams you nurture, and not of today, but that of the future. So teach your legs to walk out from conversation that threatens your conviction. Teach your hands to pull out from societal limitations that dares or futuristic inclination. Teach your mouth to speak up, speak out, rebuke doubt, rebuke reasons why your dreams could go south. Teach your eyes to stay fixated on the goal. Teach your mind to focus as you go. See, dreams needs no permission from neither race, religion, height, nor size to decide its medium of coming true. So when next society gives your body a cause for debating, teach your bodies to give it back. Thank you.